Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Dana, and today I have another video with another redesign. So if you follow me on Instagram, you might know that for the past only 2 posts, I've been doing these redesigns of these old strawberry shortcake characters, and I thought I would be done with like Orange Blossom and then move on, but I realized I really enjoyed redesigning these characters, so I'm probably going to do as many as possible. So I'm going to be getting some of my favorites and the ones that I really want to do out of the way. So the second character that I am doing is Lemon Meringue. So I'm just going to assume that you saw my past video, so I really don't have to go over. So I'm just going to be talking about these characters in a familiar tone. And this is just a disclaimer. I'm not redesigning them because the original designs were bad. I think they were fitting for the time. They were pretty, and I thought most of the designs are pretty good, but I wanted to redesign them to give them more of distinct personalities and just a more modern take on the characters. So nothing against the original creators. I obviously loved the shows and the dolls for a reason. I'm just putting my own twist on them as if I were to design these characters. So Lemon Meringue has always been one of my favorites. It's funny because she was never in like the 2003 main cast, but I saw a movie with her in it and I just fell in love with her. I thought she was such like a sweet girl, and I really liked her design. I'm obviously a stan of the color yellow, and that was like the entirety of her 2003 design, so I already really liked her. When I was designing her, I mainly leaned into the older version than the newer version, so I kept the personality from the 2003 version and took more of my inspiration kind of from neither. I kind of took it as seeing what was a constant in her design, and I tried to implement that, but I also saw what I could take away, just like in the Orange Blossom redesign. So I wanted to make sure all of these girls' hairstyles were different. They did an alright job at that in the 2003 version, but I do know in the 2008 version, almost everybody had straight, super shiny hair, and everyone looked pretty similar. So I wanted to make sure that all of these girls had different hair lengths. Some of them have different hair colors, different hairstyles, just so they all look different and they have a different silhouette. Now Lemon Meringue's kind of like double ponytail thing with the hair out is kind of iconic to her style. She kept that hairstyle when she was first introduced as well as in the 2008 version, and that's one of the things that I love about her character. I just think it looks so cute, so I obviously had to keep that. And I kept the bangs from the 2003 style just because I think they're a lot different from something Orange Blossom or Blueberry would have. So I kept the kind of like baby bangs. I thought they were really cute and trendy. And the main thing that I changed about this design was her outfit. Now I could take a lot more creative liberties with her outfit because her occupation doesn't really require manual labor like Orange's. Obviously I had to make Orange's more functional, and in this one I can just focus on aesthetics. I wanted to make sure all of these girls kind of had their own distinct little style. Orange Blossom was more kind of a tomboy kind of style. Still not really, but she leaned that way, and I thought for Lemon, since she has such a sweet and kind but also shy personality, I would give her a long dress because that's a little bit more modest. I originally was kind of going for an old-timey kind of outfit with like a modern flair, but as I started developing the outfit, it started to look more and more like a little bit of a Lolita style, so I guess that is what we went with. So yeah, for the dress, I wanted to keep it modest but also a little bit modern. So I made the skirt very long, and obviously it had to be yellow. But for the top, I was a little I had a little bit more freedom with what I wanted to do. I already knew I really wanted like puffy sleeves and frill, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted. So obviously I looked up some references and I decided to go with an off the shoulder puffy sleeve and then have kind of a ruffle. I don't know what it's called. It's called like when you pinch the fabric together, it makes kind of these ruffles, and I decided to do that all across the top. And also do like some frill on the end of the puffs, and yeah, basically. And then I gave her a ribbon around where her hips would be mainly, and I decided to make all the accents blue because blue was kind of a staple in her 2008 design. Even though obviously her main color is yellow, she had accents of blue, and I kind of wanted to pay homage to that, but I decided to make it a really deep blue for some contrast and to make it an effective accent color. So if you know, in the 2008 version, her occupation was a hairstylist, and I kind of wanted to keep that in the same. Obviously, when I'm redesigning them, they're more so like teenagers than adults, but I would think like her interest would be in hair and makeup and fashion. So obviously I wanted to give her a lot of barrettes in her hair, kind of mimicking this style that I saw. I think it's called Harajuku. I'm so sorry if I botched that. But if you see some of the styles, they put a lot of hair clips in the hair, and I really wanted to attempt that, but I just could not pull it off. So I decided to just go with one hair clip on the side, and then instead of bows for tying her ponytails, I decided to just make them butterfly clips to make them a little bit more modern. If you notice in my orange blossom design, I gave her a necklace with an orange slice on it, and I kind of wanted to do the same thing for lemon, but I didn't want it to be a slice just because lemons and oranges pretty much look the same when they're cut like that. The only difference is the color. So I decided to make a whole like lemon clip for her, and I think it fits her just because she's interested in like hair and hairstyling, and it's a hair clip, so I think it matches well. I also wanted to give her something to go around her neck, kind of like orange, and I was a little bit stumped because I didn't want to give her a necklace identical to oranges, so I decided to go with this kind of collar choker thing. I remember I was looking it up, and there's these things that are like lace chokers, and I thought it matched her style, so I decided to give that to her. When I was selecting colors, you would think it would be easy, but it was a little difficult for me. I already knew some things that I was keeping that I didn't have to think about. Like obviously her hair had to be yellow. I wanted to make her skin a little bit tanner to contrast with that yellow, and I think it looks really nice in the final result. And I also knew I was keeping her eyes blue just because I felt like there was no reason to change it. But everything else was left up to me, and I was really stumped. In her 2003 design, she has a lot of yellow and there's almost no other color. And while I understand that choice, I wanted to add more flavor to it. I didn't want it to look like she's supposed to be a personification of a lemon. I wanted it to be lemon inspired, if that makes sense. So I thought back to Orange Blossom, and I noticed how I used green as an accent over there, so I was like, okay, so green will be a secondary color here. And so I replaced the top. I originally had it the same yellow, but I decided to change it to green. But then I had a lot of bits and bobs, like the neck frill, and then the butterfly clips, and then the regular frill on the dress and all that stuff. So that's where that blue came in, but like I already said, I decided to make it darker for good contrast. Overall, this is one of my favorite designs out of all of them I did. I already originally liked the character and the style, so I guess that's expected, but I just really like the aura she presents. I really had fun doing this. So I've decided personally that I want to use these characters, so I have to give them different names, obviously, because I do not own Strawberry Shortcake, so I decided to go with the first name, Liliana, but I need a last name, which I'm still working on. But I was thinking about how all these characters will work together, and I was pretty much thinking she would keep the same personality she had from the 2003 version. She's obviously a very sweet type of girl, so I thought she'd be more shy and more reserved, but responsible. I haven't really made a video or a post about the other characters besides the 3 that I've already posted, but I do know that I want her to have a really close relationship with Raspberry, just because I think the dynamic would be super cute. I've already designed my raspberry and she's pretty spunky and cheerful, and I think that contrasts well with Lemon, and I think their passions kind of mix together, like liking hair and also liking fashion. I just think it lends itself to each other, and I think they'd be a really fun dynamic to explore. If I were to turn them into my own series, I really don't think the story would be as important as the character relationships. I feel like we're missing a lot of shows for young kids that don't have to deal with a super large world, and it can just be down to earth problems that you usually have with your friends. I know Craig of the Creek is on, which I love that show, but I just feel like we need more of them, because I feel like cartoons always will try to pander to adults more, which is not a problem, but also I feel like cartoons are a place where kids are able just to be kids. That's what I liked about them, and I feel like I'd want to make a show like that. So the problems would just be in between people. It's kind of like how My Little Pony started off, and just how the regular Strawberry Shortcake show was. I just enjoy the simplicity of it, and it allows you to connect with the characters a lot more than just not care about them and only care about a artificial story. The point that I'm trying to make is that I want to teach lessons, or I want to talk about themes. I just don't want to world build. Number one, because I'm not that good at it. I'm not that good at building fantasy. It just seems like so much work to create an entire new world, and I admire that so much, but that's just not really where my passion lies. I just like characters, and I like how they interact with each other. And number two, I just feel like we're missing a lot of more episodic shows. Nothing's wrong with serialized, but I feel like a lot of the times it's not done well when we could have had a really fun episodic show, and I feel like a lot of the time that gets lost. But I am rambling, and maybe I'll make a video about that. I don't know. But yeah, if I were to turn this into a show, it would mainly be episodic, about character relations, and that's what I'm focusing on when I'm designing them and their personalities. Okay, so we're at the part of the video where right now I'm shading the hair, and I just need to talk about this because this bothers me. Okay, so you see in the design, she's supposed to have light, pale, blonde hair. Makes sense. This is what happens every single time I draw somebody with paler hair. This is what happens. I shade it. I go crazy on the shading, especially if it's straight hair, because then I can add all the shines and all that stuff. I put all of this work into it, and you know what happens? The hair doesn't look pale anymore. Alright, it's gonna take a minute, but as the video plays, you're gonna be seeing that once I finish it, her hair doesn't look pale anymore. Like, you could see it right there. It doesn't look pale anymore now. It looks like the color is supposed to be highlights, and it drives me crazy, because what I end up having to do is I either have to change the color, or what I have to do is lower the opacity on the layer, and so then it'll be lighter. It'll be quote unquote more see-through, so then it makes the whole hair look lighter. This is why I have an issue with that, because if I was gonna lighten the entire opacity the entire time, I wouldn't have put this much detail into the hair. And this girl has a lot of hair, so this took up a lot of time, and I couldn't even copy the sides of the hair. Usually if I have braids, I will copy the shading and move it over and skew it around to make it fit, to save some time. I could not do that here, so I spent a whole bunch of time on this hair. And people look at posts for a minute. Well, not even a minute. They look at it for 3 seconds, they like it, and they move on. No one is going to take the time to look at, wow, she put a lot of detail into that hair. You see, it's one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate having to lower my opacity on my shading, because if I have to do that, what was the point of going so hard on it to begin with? So I just had to get that out. So as this video comes to a close, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm having a lot of fun with these redesigns, and I have a lot of fun talking about my process. This is what I like to do. I'm an artist. Even if you don't want to see any more of these videos, I'm gonna keep making them. So subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I'm very active over there. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on TikTok, and make sure you turn on notifications. And thank you for watching. Bye. A really quick note, I also have this design up on my Redbubble where you can get it as shirts, stickers, and notebooks. So if you want to see that, go ahead and check out my Redbubble under the same name, Hot Tea. Alright, thank you. Bye bye.